I'm sure you've been hearing it. You're probably already sick of hearing it, right? Oh, everything is so uncertain. Uncertainty, uncertainty. You're hearing about it with all of the things that are happening in the economy, with the new administration, with the dangling next steps with respect to tariffs, and how this is impacting your job search. And so this episode is really designed to be from me to you, from my heart into your ears. And the reason for that is because you're no stranger to uncertainty. If you've made it this far in your life, I'm sure that there's been a number of situations that you have also dealt successfully with uncertainty. So don't let that scare you. And from my heart to yours, I understand. I really understand. Like, I crazy understand because every day sometimes in my world can feel like there's a lot of uncertainty in the balance as I am concerned about my clients and what's happening for them, as I'm looking in as an entrepreneur, trying to understand the uncertainty of my business. Just also in my life, there's plenty of areas that feel uncertain. But at the end of the day, someone is going to get hired in this climate, as they did with past uncertain climates like the pandemic or 2008, where there was, the entire recession and people had their houses under the water. Somebody is going to get hired. And this episode is all about how to make that person you. And so I'm going to go solo today. I'm going to bring this right to you from also a place of a little tough love combined with a lot of clarity around how you navigate these waters of uncertainty. I'm also not going to hold back, which means I'm going to tell you right off the bat that you're working with an old operating system if your search isn't moving. And the reason why I know that is because as I listen to so many of you talk about why your search isn't moving, the answers seem to be so consistent. And unfortunately, they're not a really good reason why. Because you keep telling me that the market is so tough and so competitive, and that the problem is with the market. And what I want to tell you is it's not the market, because the market is not going to just revert back to some other Camelot period of time where things were easy and, folks like you who are in executive positions essentially looking for new roles that are quote unquote in the rare air, meaning they're highly competitive and they also come with a big compensation expectation. Those roles are always going to require the extra muscle. So today I'm going to give you some breakthroughs, three breakthroughs. But before I do that, I think that it's very important to understand what is happening in the current landscape, how that impacts your job search, and where you can drive certainty in uncertain times. So what no one's telling you is that in chaos, those are the times where candidates who are able to navigate that uncertainty are in higher demand. What that means specifically is that they are filtering for those who are not either doing it the old way, complaining about the current situation, and understanding that this process of filtering and probably extending for longer periods of filtering or interviewing is not necessarily going to derail them, right? It's just the way that it is. So this is not some kind of bug. It's a feature, and it's featured there by design. So every round and every touch point, whether that be through email or direct message or texting, is to find out if you're that rare leader who won't just survive and have to gut it out, but really is going to be leveraging this period of chaos or this time of uncertainty to their advantage. And part of what happens just as the natural course of action is we get into scarcity mode, right? We start thinking, oh no, I can't believe it. I'm not seeing any of these job opportunities. And what I want to tell you is it's not that the opportunities have vaporized, it's that they've transformed. In fact, industries like healthcare and technology are increasing, even more resilient than they've ever been. But the bar to get into those industries and to stay the top dog in those industries, yes, that is an expectation of where the industry is rising. So just because there's a lot of resiliency doesn't mean that it doesn't require a lot of refinement. So scarcity isn't in the market. It's just the way that you're seeing things through a lens of scarcity. So knock that off, right? You cannot do that if you are looking to be seen as somebody who is there to drive value and impact if your lens is all about what it isn't. So time to flip that around and see the opportunities in unexpected places. And then one of those places in particular is to really be positioning yourself as a change agent. Why do I say that? Because organizations are always hungry. In fact, they're starving for leaders who know how to navigate this kind of chaos. That's not just that they're able to endure it, they are known for transforming it, which is why the second most desirable skill right now, according to LinkedIn's 2025 skills listing, is conflict negotiation, crisis management, operational efficiencies. These are not bonuses anymore. These are not like nice to haves. This is the cost of entry or the price of admission. So what this should be saying to you is the market is sending a clear, loud, and visible signal. Adapt or be left behind. I am blowing the lid off of our best kept secret, our 30-day blast program. Yeah, you heard it. 30 days. We have seen so much success for this program that past clients have landed in that 30 days and increased their compensation 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, over 100%. Now, not everybody lands and earns that much in 30 days, but my point is it prepares you. And in 30 days, if you're not out of there with a changed mindset and changed clear and simple ways to be able to navigate the market this year, then we'll gladly refund your misery and you can go back to applying now. Check out the link below for the next 30-day blast, and we would love to have you there because we live for your success, and that's what's really important. See you then. I also want you to know that there are opportunities in something that may not necessarily have crossed your radar. And that's the shift to more temporary opportunities, temporary work, interim executives, consultants, project-based leaders. And companies aren't doing this because they're cheap. They're actually smart. And why they're doing this is because they need results fast. So maybe back in the day, you could, the opportunity was, get this job and, see some kind of expectation of change or turnaround in, the first 5 or 6 months. Now they want that impact in the first 90 days. So if you have a short-term contract, this is a perfect opportunity to make it happen sooner. And hopefully, if that's what you're interested in, continue either that contract or secure a longer-term full-time role. The next area that I really want to set as part of today's landscape is no surprise, right? We're talking about AI, and we're talking about the fact that AI is squeezing the margins out and changing executive roles at their very core. So leaders who fear that kind of replacement as functions to automate, that is looking way, way, way backwards. And where you need to focus in your forward thinking is to be able to use AI as a blended asset to your strategic vision, right? so that you are able to take that technology combined with strategic vision and also layer it with human insights. So AI isn't coming for your job. That's an old story. It's coming for the parts of your job that can be automated, but what you can't ever have replaced is you and all of the adjacent things that come with it, including your network, including your storytelling, including your day-to-day thought leadership impact. Now I want to really get into some of these ways to execute on uncertainty, right? I want you to really reframe your search. Importantly, reframe your search. Move it from this idea of searching to campaigning. I mean, after all, it's a strategic business initiative. You have a business and it's called the business of you, your future, your impact, your industry, your leadership. All these things are part of a larger initiative. So the way that you would if you were in your next role, use your data and then iterate, 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 iterate. Don't get stuck in that perfect keyword. That's not the issue. Let's iterate, test, and learn. Those agile methodologies are not waiting in the marketplace. You are moving with them. So I want you to build a campaign that leverages all of these iterations, and don't be afraid when something breaks. Use that as a learning experience and take it. Try a new cold outreach strategy. Use a new hook in your thought leadership. Sign off your emails in a different way or explore a different subject line to get those things opened. But don't just focus in on, oh my goodness, I can't make this move because I'm afraid. That campaign is going to live or die by how well you test. Now, for breakthrough number 2, treat your world, the world, as your new market, right? Tariffs and any of those domestic slowdowns should not be a holding pattern for you to limit your prospects. Look for opportunities, whether they be remote, even cross borders, in high skills field that are booming, right? Like I just talked about. I talked about healthcare. I talked about obviously technology. I talked about how to leverage some of these areas that are in the market that are growing and fast. Obviously AI, right? Don't make the geography a limitation. Use this as a larger scope. So if you're insisting on staying local, the global market is absolutely the next place that you need to start looking. Even if it means that you are working remotely, and maybe also means that you are looking for opportunities in different time zones. If you are committed to working, and this is important to you, don't let something else stand in the way of a new strategy. So go global, not only local. The next one is really all about the truism around what happens in certain times. And what happens in certain times is a lot of those opportunities that you see through job boards or posted on LinkedIn, it appears that those roles don't exist anymore, right? That whole scarcity thing that we talked about. If you are an executive and maybe you're in that rare air space, what I'm going to share with you is the amount of untapped opportunities. We call that hidden job market. They are going to be more and more and more, because in uncertain times, they want to have the certainty that somebody is vouching for them, a referral, a contact, somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. The breakthrough isn't more connections, though. It's deeper connections. So you should be nurturing diverse relationships and also engaging with more storytelling and less of a wah, wah. I'm a seasoned executive. No, don't. Don't keep using your titles talk to us about what it is that you're there to transform, right? My mission is to end career victimization. That's the transformation that I'm here to do by elevating, accelerating, and celebrating one executive at a time. So, who do I know? And ask who needs to know what I know. So don't ask that old question, who do you know? Right? It sounds like you are pitch slapping them, right? I just am interested in you to get to the next step of who you know so that you can help me. Different question is who needs to know what I know, right? It's a much, much, much more insightful way of starting to explore how you could be useful, not what you can attain and what you can take. Breakthrough number 4, I'm going to ask you to really be a leader of change, because what I talked about earlier is as you are showcasing that crisis management, how you're innovating on a day-to-day basis, your digital fluency, those are the kinds of battle scars that shouldn't be hidden. We need to know that, because how else am I going to know that you were able to navigate those snarly situations? Showcase your scars. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I know it sounds counterintuitive, like, ooh, I'm not perfect. Well, perfection isn't going to land you the job. They can read through that in a second. It's the person, not the polish. Lastly, what I really want you to know is if you are not using the value of your personal brand, or you don't have one yet, that's a lighthouse that right now you need to turn on all the lights for. So stop wondering like why things aren't being, coming to you. Why aren't those people reaching out? Or I keep hearing crickets. It's not about what it is that's not happening. It's how you are approaching getting found. And this is really important. It's not just about repurposing your resume. That's old news, right? That's old news. You really need to have that footprint there because that's the first thing that they're going to be looking at. And if that's off, it's probably a game over, right? So the executive search process is really about who is acting, not reacting. And certainty is a luxury that it's gone. It's gone. Action will create that clarity. The only way you're going to know is not by sitting on the sidelines or wishing it would happen or expecting something different in the marketplace. That is not going to happen. So my final closing thoughts are really about stop waiting for certainty. You cannot predict the market. You're not a genie. You don't have a magic ball. I want you to lead with an area of certainty and get certain about yourself first and start leading your search the same way that you would if you were in a boardroom. Because the future is really belonging to those executives who are moving first, adapting fast, and never stopping to build value, regardless of what is happening in the outside climate. Like I said before, someone is going to get hired, and they're probably using a lot of these ideas and strategies. So my question is, what are you going to do? How are you going to use these? What is stopping you from taking these right here and now in this very short and stealth podcast recording that I just wanted to deliver so that you would know that I am not only here for you, I am all in with you. So if your search is not moving forward, if you've been out of the market for a considerable period of time, let's get you a new operating system, because the old one, it's not going to cut through this time when things are uncertain. That's why you are there to be the certainty factor and be the one that gets hired. So I wish all of you who are listening know that this is no messing around. I'm here, and so are so many of my colleagues. If you are interested in learning more about any of our programs, please go ahead and reach out. I'll include those links in the show notes. And until then, I want you to know this. You are a master of uncertainty, but now everyone else needs to know that too. All right. Have a great one. And oh, by the way, if you haven't already given us a podcast review, we would so appreciate it. It's so important because this is how our show grows. And I know that there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people that are listening. And please do us a solid and let us know. Thank you. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you for joining today. We appreciate your listening ears. Big time. We ask this: use these tools, not tomorrow, right now, and share them by spreading the love, leaving us a rating and subscribe so you don't miss the next career blast in a half. Most of all, thank you for you.